Hello, I'm Dave Archer. Welcome to another fly fishing adventure in Northern Idaho. This trip I'm going to show you the beautiful backcountry of St. Joe River and then the North Fork of the Clearwater River. I was very fortunate to have both of my adult sons join me on this trip, and we had a really good time even though it was very hot weather. At any rate, I want to promote this Idaho Gazetter, which is what I use on all these trips. And well, we're just going to get started. This is just a reference map to show you our overall trip. We started in St. Regis, we fished the St. Joe River, and then we came back to Superior and crossed over the pass and followed the North Fork of the Clearwater River down to the junction where it meets Kelly Forks. I give a lot more information on the details later on in the video, but this is just an overview. So make sure you top off and fill up here in St. Regis before you take Cold Creek Road over the pass down into Idaho into St. Joe. Nowhere you can get gas down there unless you go all the way downriver. I'm gonna, what time is it? I'll use this clock right here. 2:31, and so when we get over the pass and actually meet the St. Joe River, I'll let you know what our time is. I've never been on this St. Joe. I've heard about it. It's supposed to be great fishing, great camping, so I'm real excited. I'm with my son Darren. We arrived in St. Regis, Montana on Interstate 90 to gas up. Just down the road, we turned left and followed Little Joe Creek Road right out of St. Regis to the Idaho Pass. At the pass, the road changes from a dirt road to a paved road. The road signage changed to Gold Creek Road, which leads to Gold Creek Campground, and then later it meets and parallels the St. Joe River. The drive lasted 1 hour. We turned left and drove upstream on a narrow paved road to Fly Flat Campground, which is a shady and lovely campsite with an outhouse. The camp fee is $15 a night. The time changed to Pacific time zone. We turned around and followed the river downstream to pick an unimproved campsite on the river a mile below Tin Can Creek Campground. We also found a nice boat launch at Eagle Creek. On the second day, it was a 6-hour float from Eagle Creek launch to our unimproved campsite below Tin Can Campground. Darren caught 17 cutthroats while I caught 12. It's a catch and release fishery with no barbs. We actually found our best success in the middle of the river in the sun on yellow sallies, Matamex, and yellow humpies. There's no shuttle service locally and no road traffic to speak of to hitchhike. My son Darren walked up to the Tin Can Campground and hired a man for a shuttle for $40.
I haven't taken any footage other than that one spot.
The upper North Fork of the Clearwater River is a small stream with pools, riffles, and boulder-strewn runs. We found lots of shaded, unimproved campsites, as well as hidden creek campground. We drove downriver and camped at No Campground, where we would launch the next morning. We scouted the river and decided to float 6.5 miles below No Campground. Our biggest concern was the narrow rapids less than a mile downstream from 4th of July Creek and the Packhorse Bridge. The beating sun at 97 degrees put a damper on the fishing. My son Darren caught over a dozen fish, but my youngest son and I were in the single digits. The following day, we headed over Hoodoo Pass to Superior, Montana. In spite of my efforts to improve my driving time, it still took close to 3 hours.
Have a good one. Stoneflies. Yellow humpies, stimmies, purple haze.
Shove off. I'm using up battery time. Right upstream is 4th of July Creek. You can see it coming in on the right. Right up there in that little canyon. I'm waiting for my 2 sons to float down so I can get a good shot of them. So I thought, since I've been showing my sons and I floating on our water striders, one-man rafts, I should put a disclaimer. We had numerous stretches that we scouted, and just when we'd think, oh yeah, this is going to be a great float, we'd come to a restricted area, the water would cram up in big boulders, and it would be less than ideal for us to float through. So we finally found a stretch of 6.5 miles. But I need to say, and I don't want to exaggerate, and I don't want to scare anybody off with a kick boat, but right below this bridge, about a mile, the water comes in tight up against the big rock bank, and there's a death trap on the as you're looking downriver on the right side. Boy, I don't want to be the expert advising, but you have to stay on the left side, and if you need to line it out or walk it through about 100 yards, just kind of working your way down, that's the thing to do. Now we've been told, and this is my first time here, but we've been told the water's low, and we've been dealing with high 90s, and I don't have a water temperature. It's still cool, but my feet stayed warm, so it's been hit and miss on the fishing. We talked to a guy yesterday that was just jumping out of his truck along the different takeouts, and he said he caught 15 fish before lunch. So, and this is our first day of floating. I'm going to change out with my son Brandon and get in the raft, and then I'll do the final stretch. So, at any rate, there's no real legitimate boat launch sites, just mostly in the campgrounds that we found. But lots of getting out and fishing good runs. So, at any rate, just wanted to add that. How many have you caught so far?
6.
Cool. Largest?
12.
12?
Couple 12 inches. Couple 8.
Nice.
1 dink.
Well, it's the heat of the afternoon and things are slowing down. But every once in a while we still catch a fish. Lots of little stoneflies coming off.
For the record, I only use the oars to get close to my old man.
Okay, so I want to review the roads into St. Joe River and to the North Fork of the Clearwater River. I didn't take notes, so while it's fresh in my mind. I'm with my 2 sons. And so it took us an hour from St. Regis when we took Cold Creek Road to drop into the St. Joe. And halfway up at the pass, on Montana side, it was all dirt road, but fairly good. And then at the pass, we hit a paved road all the way down to Avery. And then surprisingly, upstream or downstream, it was still paved road. Now we stayed above Avery. We did 2 floats. We did a float above Avery at Eagle Creek, and we took out at Tin Can Creek. That was a really nice float. We caught lots of good fish. The next day we floated from Avery down to, I think it's Marble Creek, a big overpass, a big campground. That was 12 miles, and it was a little bit arduous for me. It wore me out. And plus, we were in, this is 2024, July 8th, it's 97 degrees, so we were in a heat wave. So we left, actually, excuse me, I'm going to back up. We went in to the St. Joe at St. Regis and took Cold Creek Road. We came out of the St. Joe at Avery, a dirt road, and well maintained, went over the pass and dropped down into Wallace. And that was a great road trip. And if you haven't seen Wallace and you're rushing through an I-90, drive around Wallace. It's a charming little mining town. So great road from Wallace over into the St. Joe. Took an hour. We came out at Avery on the St. Joe, which is a village, and it's kind of like halfway. You can go up or down. That took 2 hours. And so now I met up with my son Brandon, and we met at Superior. We took Forest Service Road 250 out of Superior, and we went over Hoodoo Pass. And another hot day. It took me 3 hours. I'm pulling a trailer with a little raft, and I'd say we got out for a few photo opportunities, but still, it was 3 hours of bumpy road, really rough. And now we're at the confluence of Kelly Creek and the North Fork of the Clearwater. I'm tired.